I mean, Tiffany Cross. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Author of Say It Louder, Black Voters, White Narratives, and Saving Our Democracy, right at the start of the Second Civil War in America. Her new show debuts this Saturday on MSNBC. She is also a fellow at the Harvard I've heard of that, the Harvard Kennedy School's Institute of Politics. Really? Really? On this show? On this show, Tiffany Cross? Really? All right. Good morning, Tiffany Cross.
Good morning. There is no way I'm slumming. I'm so excited to chat with you, Stephanie. This has been a busy morning, and I wanted to make sure that you and I have plenty of time to talk. So thank you so much for having me. I know this conversation is about to be fire. Let's do it.
Congratulations. I am so excited. I said I got to hang with Tiffany at Politicon. I was telling my guys, and I said by hang, I mean I gushed over her for 20 seconds in the green room in between panels. Right?
I was in your town. I was in L.A., your neck of the woods. It was a great time. I miss L.A. I'm jealous of the weather you guys are getting to experience.
Yeah.
I miss everything. Okay, let's talk about Trump has just tweeted as we're speaking. The Supreme Court has a chance to save our country from the greatest election abuse in the history of the United States. 78% of the people feel no, the election was rigged. Oh, I see. So based on a spidey sense, Tiffany, we just apparently the black people's votes don't count now? Is that what we're doing?
I mean, it's so ridiculous. Now we're slumming because anytime I have to talk about that guy and his ridiculous claim, I mean, Stephanie, it's so ridiculous. This is clearly something that, look, we do have to take it seriously because this is somebody who is trying to stage a coup. He is trying to overthrow the government and the will of the people, and that is something that we cannot take lightly. But I'm baffled that we have to entertain the ridiculous temper tantrum of someone who was the beneficiary of centuries of white supremacy, who somehow convinced over 70 million people that he, the rich billionaire who didn't pay people when he was in the private sector, was somehow going to fulfill his word in the public sector. I mean, it just blows my mind.
Tiffany,
all the intelligent people procreate to create a better, more intelligent society.
Well, what a time to launch your new show, is it Cross Connection? Is it Cross Talk? We're really so invested in this. What's going to be the name of the show?
The name of the show is the Cross Connection. But our hashtag will continue to be hashtag crosstalk.
Yeah.
Yay.
That Twitter did. So that's not going away. We will always hashtag crosstalk. So I'm super excited about it.
I'm super excited too. And I have to say, this literally feels like them trying to, I don't know, the South rising again, them starting another civil war. Like, really? 18 states are suing because they don't like that too many black people got to vote? I mean,
right. Well, yeah, let me say the South is rising again. As we saw, the new American electorate turned plenty of states in the South purple or blue. We'll see what happens with Georgia in this Senate race. But there is a new South, and it's not the way that Donald Trump thinks it's going to go. And this is active voter suppression. This is active voter fraud. And they just, it's the response of a sore loser and somebody who continues to try to stoke fear and discord in the American body politic, and unfortunately, he's been successful at it.
And Tiffany, I would use the word not just discord. I would say insurrection, sedition. I mean, Jim Clyburn said this is insurrection. I mean, it's you. Speaking of which, so you're born in Cleveland, you're and moved to Atlanta. So, what is your take? I hope there's such backlash to this in Georgia. What do you think in terms of these Senate races?
I've been blown away by the amount of civic engagement in Atlanta. Over 1 million people have requested mail-in ballots. The amazing work of Stacey Abrams, but also there are other activists on the ground there, like LaTosha Brown with Black Voters Matter. And we should note that there is a huge immigrant population in Atlanta. So in Georgia rather, it's a very diverse state. It's not the South of yesteryear, and so you have a huge population of Asian American Pacific Islanders. They represent over 300,000 registered voters. You have the Hispanic Latino population. You even have pockets of Native Americans who will drive this vote. So I think it's a lesson to politicians that the appeal does not always have to be to white voters, that they need to start rethinking some of this coalition building and making their messages relevant to the rising majority of the country, because the American electorate is starting to look a lot more diverse, and so should the people who represent them, quite frankly.
Yeah, they don't seem like they have new ideas, Tiffany. All they have is voter suppression. You see they're trying it as we speak in Cobb County, cutting the number of voting locations for, in hugely African-American communities. I mean, and every time there's an outcry is the only time they do the right thing, right? Where we call them out.
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Cobb County. I went to Wheeler High School there, and that's a major problem. And I think that people don't understand what voter suppression means. I think some people who don't have an intellectual curiosity about it think, that means they think it's still from the 60s, where people will have to show up and count the number of jelly beans. But voter suppression is getting purged from the polls, creating random voter ID laws, closing polling stations. And so Brian Kemp has been a fierce practitioner of it. When he was Secretary of State, he literally jailed people for organizing voter registration. So this is something very serious that we should pay attention to.
Isn't everything relative now? I keep saying that. I'm like, it's not that Brian Kemp and Brad Raffensperger are good guys. It was just the margin was too large for them to be able to steal. They're not against it, right? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. That's so true. It's like people want to reward folks for coming out and saying, yeah, well, the election is what it is, and it's called for Biden. It's like, yeah, but you still rode with this horrible president for years. You still allowed him to enact some of these policies. You still yourself were a proponent of voter suppression. And so I have receipts and a long memory. I'm not quite so ready to ally with these guys.
More importantly, the Wheeler High School mascot is what now? Wheeler High School?
Tiger.
The tiger.
Tiger.
Oh,
All right.
That does not surprise me. Yeah, because
I'm sorry, Wildcats. I said Tiger Wildcats. It's the Wheeler Wildcats.
Okay.
yeah, that's why you have Eye of the Tiger. That's why you got this show. It is very. Here, I loved your tweet. If I could go back 20 years and speak to my 22-year-old self, crying in the edit bay at CNN, loving working in news, but made to feel unwelcome, like I didn't belong, and tell that young woman that one day this would be her reality, we'd have weathered the storm even better. Oh, I wish I was in the edit room 22 years ago when I was only 97, and then I would have comforted you and said, Tiffany, you're going to be great. I'm going to work in my basement, but you are going to be fantastic. I mean, I'm so excited. I had you and Joy Reid on to celebrate. You got some black girl magic going on over there, but to celebrate these barriers being broken, I am so excited for you. Congratulations. Representation is everything.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited myself, and this has been great. I'm super excited, and I hope everybody tunes in on Saturday morning, because we're going to have some really great conversations.
10 a.m. Eastern. Love you, Tiffany. See you soon.